he's been right on China for 20 years. I think it's one of the central parts of why he's president of the United States. His whole populist message, this economic nationalist message, was about the central issue of our time, and that is the relationship between China and the United States economically, culturally, and militarily. And I believe that President Trump, because of a number of different factors, and he's trying to include North Korea into that situation, is looking at a grand bargain, okay, with pressure from red state Republicans in the agricultural community and Wall Street. I think they look to try to accommodate. My strongest recommendation is to be as tough and hard as possible. The Chinese will buckle.
Kevin Cerruti joining us now, Bloomberg chief Washington correspondent, joining us from the White House. Kevin, are the Chinese buckling, and what's the latest?
Well, the latest is that there seems to be a divide, Jonathan, between the folks at the White House as well as President Trump's base. You have to remember that Steve Bannon, President Trump's former chief strategist, still aligned with the likes of other protectionists in the White House, but there's free traders like Larry Kudlow, Secretary of Treasury Stephen Mnuchin, and Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross, who have really formed a team and an alliance. Now, I'm told by sources close to Secretary Mnuchin as well as protectionist Peter Navarro that they actually had a disagreement during Secretary Mnuchin's trip to Beijing. Other protectionists include USTR's Bob Lighthizer, Peter Navarro, as we mentioned, and Stephen Miller, Steve Bannon's former protege. So the back and forth right now very much ongoing. I spoke to one source earlier this morning who said that the Chinese feel they do have considerable leverage here just because of the other geopolitical events pertaining to North Korea.
Kevin, the other story on China, the move to cut the tariff on import duties on cars from 25% to 15%. Your thoughts?
Well, it was interesting to see how European car traders traded up on that news, and we should note just exactly what the Chinese are saying they're going to do, because, as you mentioned, they're going to cut the import duty on passenger cars from 15%. That's down from 25%, and that's going to be effective on July 1st. That's $51 billion of vehicle imports in 2017. $13.5 billion of that comes from North America.